Hi, everybody. We're live. We'll start in about 5 minutes. I just wanted to say hi and get this thing going. Let's see who's here. Oh, good. Oh, hi, Denise. It's, um, it's fun. It's like being backstage or something. It's like waiting for the cue to go. Just got about 1 more minute, and then I'm going to start. If you have any questions you want to make sure I answer during this, go ahead and type them into the chat box so that I can see them and can answer. Mm. Hey, everybody. There's everybody. It's just straight up 12 noon, so I'm going to let everybody jump in here for a second. Oh, good. Look at how many people there are. Hi, everybody. Yay. Excellent, as you all log on. I will say if you have any difficulty with the feed, if you go to the very top, there's a little thing that looks like a gear, and that's your settings. And if you adjust your settings so it's a little lower, if you have problems with me freezing or stuttering or something, that little settings thing can fix it. Let's see how we're doing here. Great, great, great. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad to see you all. Good. Let's go ahead and start. Let's just start because I got a lot of ground to cover, and I want to make sure I answer all your questions. You have to recover. I'm still recovering from bronchitis, so you'll have to forgive me if I get a little coffee. But mostly I want to say welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I think it's extraordinary that you take this time for yourself and for your creativity and for the better life that's waiting for you this afternoon, even. The changes that you can make in your life starting right now. So I want to start by the way I like to start, all the workshops and classes and telecalls that I do with a little bit of breathing. And the breathing is just to sort of bring us all into the same space at the same time. Even for those of you who are watching this recording later, maybe a little bit later, maybe much, much later, maybe years from now, you too are welcome into this space and time. And so whether you just want to take a minute to just feel the inside of your body, be inside of your body, or breathe to release some tension or negative feelings you might be having, or just to experience some gratitude for your life. Whatever feels comfortable for you, I'm down with. And maybe you have something you'd like to get an insight on during our time together. Maybe there's a breakthrough you'd like to have. Maybe there's a question you want answered. You can let this breathing time sort of let those bubble up too. Okay? So we're just going to do this one time, and it's super easy. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, exhale for a count of 8. I'll count us through it. And if you want to ignore it totally, that's fine with me too. We'll be done in just a second. Good. So drop your shoulders down and back a little bit. And let your eyes, your gaze soften. A little Mona Lisa smile on your lips. Let your heart soften. Let your belly soften. Let it get all poochy soft. And let your breath drop in like a pebble dropping to the bottom of a well. And we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you for doing that with me. I want to take this moment to point something out to you about that little breathing thing. I started doing it years ago when I started teaching teleclasses, just because I needed a way to center myself. I needed a way to plug in intuitively to where you all were at and to myself, to my own inspiration. And at first I was a little uncomfortable. I was like, is it too much like prayer? Is it too spiritually woo-woo? Are people going to be freaked out? And then I realized, oh, that's right. It's my business. I can do this however I want. And if people are turned off by it, well, they're probably not the right people for me. I probably can't help you very much. And maybe there's somebody who would really enjoy it. We often forget to breathe during the course of the day. Maybe somebody would really like that. So this kind of freedom to make your own choices and be in collaboration with yourself around what you want to say and do in the world is what being a creative entrepreneur is all about. So let me back up a little bit. We're here today to address sort of a recurring question I get, this theme that I hear. Because on the one hand, I know creative people, we're not super motivated by money. It's not really what gets us up in the morning. We're pretty happy with our lives. We're good at making do with things. Some of you like fancy stuff, but most of the people I talk to aren't really into fancy stuff. And that's fine. I'm not saying you need to be any different than you are. But I also hear people saying things like, wow, I would love to travel more. Oh, I would love to go see my family. Oh, I would love to take a month off and write. Oh, I would love to study with Sam. I would love to work with her. I would love to get new towels. I would love to be able to donate money. You know, I got a thing for Habitat for Humanity the other day, or I got a thing from a theater company I love, and wouldn't it be great to be able to write them a big fat check? Wouldn't that be fun to support somebody else in their art? I'd love to get some new equipment. I'd love to get a new phone. I'd love to get some new, you know, whatever it is. So notice that while you may not be super motivated by money itself, there are things that you would really love to do that you're not doing because you think you can't afford it, because you feel restricted by money. And a lot of you are stuck in jobs that you kind of hate. And not because they're bad jobs or because it's bad people, but because it's, you know, it's not using all of you. You know it's not using all of your intellect, all of your creativity, all of your physical strength, all of your spiritual strength, all of your creative problem-solving powers. You know you have so much more to give. But it feels somehow risky. Doesn't seem like the right time. You're not really sure. Sorry, again, bronchitis. And this leads us to sort of part two of this question, which is, how do I have a better life? How do you have a better life? How do you have a life that you feel proud of? How do you have a life that you wake up every morning and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for this life? How do you have a life where there's time for you to write, for you to make art, for you to make music, for you to dance, for you to sew, for you to do stained glass or clog dancing or design little things, whatever it is you like to do, that creative joy you get, that work you love to do? How do we get that more into your life? So that you're not spending every day getting everything done for everybody else, and at the end of the day, there you are with your projects left unfinished. And you know, we're not here forever. We don't have an unlimited amount of time to do our work. So now is the time. Now is the time. And so let's go ahead and just think about this for a second. Because this is a workshop. This is like an interactive teaching thing. I don't have anything to sell here particularly. I have an invitation for you, but it's not a sales thing. So this is really for you to get some work done. So let's start right now, because I hear this all the time. I have people like, oh, I can't afford it, I can't afford it, I can't afford it. I don't have enough money, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough money. And then I say, okay, how much would you like to be bringing in every month? And the person I'm talking to goes, oh, gosh, I'm not really sure. I haven't really thought about it. Okay, well, that might be part of the problem. If you don't know how much you want, you're going to have a hard time making it, right? If you don't know, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a destination, it's going to be hard to know. It's going to be hard to start to get there. So go ahead and write down for yourself, how much would you like to be bringing in every month? And for some of you, maybe it's just an extra couple $100 a month. You know, like that would be great. If I could bring in an extra $350 a month from my writing or from my teaching or from my healing work or from my whatever, that would just be great. That would just be really fun for me. And maybe for some of you it's more. You know, I'd like to bring in $10,000 a month. I think that would really be a great number for me. Maybe it's $20,000 a month. Pick a number that feels really good to you and one that feels possible. Not totally pie in the sky, but maybe on the sharp edge of ambitious. Okay? And go ahead and let me know what that is. So go ahead, type into the chat what your number is. I'm kind of curious here. What's your, how much money would you like to see coming in every month? If you could just make it happen. What do you think? I know there's a little delay between when you guys type and when I see it. So I'll keep talking for a second to see what shows up. And there's no right or wrong number. Any number is fine. And the other thing I want you to be thinking about and writing down is what's better. You know, if you were going to be making a better life for yourself, what would constitute better? Would it be better if you could work from home? Would it be better if you had time to work out every day? Would it be better if you were famous? Would it be better if you were internationally recognized? Would it be better if you could spend time with more time with your children or your grandchildren? What would make your life better? And just write down one or two things. I know you've got a million things that you would like to see, but what are just one or two things that if those things were happening, you would say to yourself, yeah, that's better. My life is better now because I can X, Y, and Z. Let's see. Good, $1,000, $2,000, $12,000 a month, $20K a month, $1,000, 5,000 euros a month. That's great. That's great. 5,000. Good numbers. Oh, somebody said realistic 9,500. See, good. That's fine. That's fine. And I want you to know you can do that. Just take my word for it. If you are here on this call, watching this recording, and that number occurred to you, that's the magic recipe. You can do it. You can do it. And we'll talk a little bit about how to get there, sort of. So let's see. What would make your life better? Have a staff. Yes, staff is good. Hiring people is good. It's a beautiful thing to pay other people. It's a beautiful thing to pay other people. Time to sleep, not to have to clean. Yes, you were not put on this earth to clean tile grout. I mean, I know sometimes it can be therapeutic to do housework. I'm not saying don't do that. But really, pay somebody else to clean your house. I know, I'm a Midwestern girl too. It sort of makes me go, ah, but I'm telling you, that time is so worth it. And then to give somebody else that job, and they're so happy for that job, and you get to have another person on your team, it's a beautiful thing. Seriously, I don't care how broke you are, seriously consider having a housekeeper come in twice a month. Have an impact on how children are treated, exactly. Have a home and workspace, yes, meaningful work, relaxed schedule, more than enough money. Horseback riding, absolutely, to explore. Nature walks, yes, make a TED Talk, exactly. Okay, so these are not crazy out there dreams. I mean, you guys are not talking about going to Mars, right? You're talking about some fairly doable improvements, and most of them, and this is what I notice, and this is what's great, is they are things that are within your power. You can do this. You can make time for nature walks. You can make time to be fit. You can position yourself to get a TED Talk. You can move to a bigger house, even. You can, these are not things that you need other people. The TED Talk, you kind of need other people's approval, but you could certainly do what I'm doing right now. You could have a webcast. You could have a show right now. These are all things that are within your purview. You can make them happen. You can touch them. So notice your own power there. So you have a dream of some extra money. You have some work that you love doing, and that I'm going to guess you've achieved some level of mastery in. You may feel like, oh, I should get some more accreditation, or oh, I'm not really great at it. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're great at it. Whatever that thing is you do, you're great at it. People can pay you for that. It's okay. And you have a vision of a life you'd like to be leading. Now, this says to me, go into business for yourself. There has never been a better time for you to go into business for yourself. It's never been easier, it's never been cheaper, the barrier to entry has never been lower, and the world has never been more welcoming, and particularly for creative people. Right? I mean, I hear this all the time, like, oh, theater's dead, and music's dead, and nobody's buying albums anymore, and no, the publishing is dead, and movies are dead, and television's dead, and it's all, nobody's, poetry's dead. Yeah, really? Because I notice that people's hunger for art has not gone anywhere. People are just as eager and anxious to hear songs and see movies and read stories and get healed and talk to people and be taught and try new things than they ever were. It's just that the old model is dead. The way those things used to get out into the world, that's not working so great, but frankly, it never worked that great. Publishing never worked that great. It was never that good of a system. Right now there's a new system where you get to make the work you want to do just because you want to do it and get it out to the people who love it. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about you creating a business that's not just a business. It's something where you are offering something you love. You love offering this thing, and you love what you're charging for it. And the people that find you also love it and love paying you for it. They're running at you with credit cards. They love it so much. It's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. Everybody wins. Can you imagine that? Can you make a picture for yourself of what that business might look like? About who those people might be that you could serve? That audience, that fan base? When you think about how you might be able to get to them, just noodle around. I'm not saying you're committing to anything. Just noodle around with it a little bit. Because honestly, how many fans do you need? You know, I'm doing this call by myself right now because my team leader, my right-hand girl, Leonore, some of you know Leonore. Leonore is in Sweden right now, leading a trip for 5 women, teaching them backcountry wilderness skills, how to build a fire, how to shoot an arrow, and traditional Norse singing styles. That's what she's doing. She has 5 women who are paying her and her partner, I don't know, a couple of grand to go to Sweden, learn backcountry wilderness skills, and learn traditional Norse singing. Would you like that? Would you like to have a job like that, where that's your gig, where you can leave your regular job working with me and go to Sweden for 2 weeks? How exciting is that? And she didn't need the whole world to want to go on that trip. She needed 5 people, and she found them. And they paid her. They're thrilled, and she's thrilled. What an incredible opportunity. And now she gets to go to Sweden, right? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. All right, so let me check in. Good, loving this, excellent. Good, good, good. Housekeeper, break into National Martins at a studio, good. Yeah, good, 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 good. Oh, I love what you guys are saying. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so let's just cover where we've gone so far. We're 17 minutes in, and I want to make sure we're tracking what's happening here. You've written down how much money you would like to see come in every month from your talent, from your skills. You've written down what a better life might be, what the circumstances of that might be. Okay, that dream that you have for yourself and for your life. You understand that you are great at what you do, and there are people who are looking for you. And you know how you know they're looking for you? Go onto Google and type in what you do, and all kinds of things will pop up. There are other people looking for what you do. It's a search engine. They're searching. They're like going down a candle, like down a hallway, like I'm searching. I'm searching for a traditional Celtic drum player for my band. I'm searching for an editor for my book. I'm searching for a Reiki healer who doesn't talk weird. Or, I don't know. They're looking. They're looking for you. They're searching for you. Right? Okay. So you have the ability, and there are people out there who have what you want and who have lots of money to pay for it. This myth that there's not enough money in the world, where did that come from? There's tons of money in the world. Do you see how much money there is out there? I see people all the time spending all kinds of money on all kinds of things. Have you been on eBay lately? The things people buy? It's amazing. It's amazing. We make money. We find the money for the things we really want. You know, I mean, nobody's got an extra $500 until a new iPhone comes out, and then all of a sudden everybody finds $500, right? So don't buy into the story that there's not enough money. There's lots of money, and it's not that hard to get. It's right out there. There's lots of money, there's lots of love, there's lots of oxygen, there's lots of cheese, there's lots of pens. There's no shortage, there's no lack, certainly not here in the US, not for the people who have the time and the resources and the acuity to be on this webinar. We're really blessed in how much abundance we have and have access to. So don't fall into this trap that there's not enough money, because there's plenty of money. And there's lots of people who have lots of money who want to pay you for what it is you do, or sell, or perform, or whatever it is you do. Okay, so if this is turning you on a little bit, I want to let you, I got a program that's starting next week that's very small, it's very intensive, and it's kind of pricey because it's small and intense. And it's called Creative Genius CEO, and what I want you to do is just apply for it. Just fill out the application. Just because, even if you're 100% sure you're never in a million years going to do it, that's fine. I don't need you to want to do it. I want you to fill out the application once we're done, because the action of filling out the application will move you forward in your thinking about your business. You see how even just answering these questions has moved you forward in your thinking of like, oh, maybe I could do that. Oh, maybe that could happen. Oh, maybe I could ask this person or that person, right? And then if you're really serious about it, you know, I'll send you an invitation. We can have a little conversation about it and see if it's the right thing for you or not. And I'm only looking for a couple of people, so you won't hurt my feelings if you just fill it out for fun and then say, no, Sam, that's okay. But it's an interesting application, and often, like I said, just filling out the application and starting to think in a new way about it can be of service. So that's my invitation to you. If you would like to do that, do that. Okay. So a couple of years ago, I came up with, the first time I did the Creative Genius CEO program, I came up with these 10 rules for being this Creative Genius CEO, and I want to talk you through them. And in kind of a different way than I've talked about it before. There's 10 of them. I might have time to go into all 10, but we'll see. We'll see. Let me just check and make sure there's no questions or anything coming out on the chat. Sorry, having delays in feed, but $10,000 in life would be better to be able to write, speak, spend time with family, help send nieces to college, change legislation, and travel more. Absolutely. Yes to that. Yes to that. If you're having trouble with the feed, again, if you go up to the very top of your screen, there's a little thing that looks like a little gear, settings, and if you change your settings, you can go down to a lower setting, so I will be more pixelated, but it won't freeze or stutter so much. Okay. I think you can also do it so you just hear the audio and you don't even see the picture, but I'm not sure. Good. Such an excellent point. I'm so sick of being fed the lack story and finding myself buying it. Seriously, do not buy into this story. You know, we're already a bunch of mavericks, right? Everybody already told you you couldn't do the thing you wanted to do and that you needed something to fall back on and that you were too dreamy and too sensitive and too creative and too bold and too loud and too weird and too this and too that and too everything. Yeah. And yet here we all are. Here we all are. Leading wonderful, successful lives, having happy relationships. Here we are, engaged in the work we love. That doesn't sound like failure to me. That doesn't sound like the consequence of being too dreamy or too weird or too whatever. You can do it. You can do it. And cross over into this land where you understand that there is plenty of money, plenty of resources, plenty of clients. There's no lack. There's nothing stuck. Just in here it gets stuck. In your mind it gets stuck. In your mind it feels like there's not enough. But notice out in the real world. Out in the real world, there's so much. There's so much. Okay. So let's take a look at what some of the qualities that I think you have already that will help you be, you said, a creative genius CEO. And let me say this out loud. Being a creative genius CEO means that you hire yourself. You put yourself in charge of your work. You're not waiting around for somebody to hire you, for somebody to publish you, for somebody to buy you, for somebody to tell you it's okay, for somebody to tell you you're good enough. You are saying you are good enough. You are saying the world needs your work, and you are hiring yourself to do it. So you're not waiting to get published. You get your blog out there. You get a Facebook page up there. Start publishing on. Annie Lamott has been publishing on Facebook. Right? Why not? 7 billion likes later. You know, you want a TV show. You can film yourself right now. You can do one of these Google Hangouts and put it out into the world right now. You can hire yourself right now to do the work you love. Okay, great. So let's start. Let's start with this. Let's start with some of these rules. Rule number 1, I do not work for free. Say it with me, won't you? I do not work for free. Now, some of you may have been giving your work away for free up to now, and you have my express written permission to change that. And you can say to the people that have been accepting your work for free, saying, you know what, I've been doing this for free for so long, and I really love doing it, but I've started to charge for it, and here's the new price. And then you state your price, and you stop talking. State your price, then stop talking. I used to have a sign over my phone that said, state your price, then stop talking. The thing with not working for free, because I know this trips people up, because they're like, well, what about promotional things? Or you're doing this webinar now, that's free, what's up with that? Okay, so really what I want you to be thinking about is return on investment. And not some vague, like, oh yeah, you'll get good exposure. No, we're talking about an actual return on investment. So I go speak at this group for free, but I get everybody's name and email address, and I can make them an offer. I can sell my book in the back of the room. That has a return on investment. I put in a certain amount of time and energy, I get back X, Y, or Z. Okay? I pay to participate in a showcase, or I pay to sponsor an event. But what I get back is X, Y, and Z. So you want to be keeping an eye on your return on investment. And if what you're looking for is not money or people to join your list, what are you looking for? Spiritual sustenance, laughs, time with people you like. What makes it worth it to you? What's in it for you? Because here's the thing, you spend all this time thinking about doing everything for everybody else and thinking about making everybody else happy, and somebody says, what do you want? And you go, oh, I don't know. Yeah, start thinking about what you want. What makes it worth it for you? Okay? So, rule number 1, I do not work for free. Rule number 2, I concentrate on my highest income and highest joy-producing activities. I concentrate on my highest income and highest joy-producing activities. I think it was my friend Melissa McFarland who first introduced me to this phrase, highest income-producing activities. Like, what are your highest income-producing activities? It's like, oh my gosh, I've never thought about it that way. I have no idea. And I start to notice, what are the things that brings in clients? What are the things that I do that bring in money? And what are the things that are just me dicking around, right? Okay, busy work. So if you want to make more money, you're going to have to spend a little more time concentrating on the money. And again, keep in mind that stuff you want, that bigger house, that time to travel, that time with your nieces and nephews. And be clear, be intentional about that. Move that stuff up to the very top of the list, because that's, without the money flowing through, it's, as you've noticed, it's really difficult to get anything done, right? Once you have the money flowing through, it's a lot easier. You have a lot more freedom and choices. It doesn't make your life perfect. It's not going to make, you're still going to be you. And he's still going to be him, and that problem's still going to be that problem. But you have a little more flexibility. You have a little less pressure and a little more freedom to choose, which is really what we all want, right? So focus on the highest income-producing activities, and then also on the highest joy-producing activities. What do you do in your life that brings you joy, that lights you up? And that may be related to your highest income producing activity, and it may not. Those may be two different things. That's okay. But make sure you are spending time on both of those things every single day. Every single day. And it may, for some of you, it may take a little work. You may have to start like journaling a little bit. Like, what do I do? What do I do that brings in money? What do I do that brings me joy? And it may change. Different seasons of your life, different times, different things will bring you joy, different things will bring you money. Stay flexible with it. We're not setting something in stone forever. But also notice the things that don't bring you money and don't bring you joy. And see if we can't cross some of those things off the list, right? I mean, seriously, cross them off the list. Or delegate them, or hire somebody else to do them, or whatever. Okay, what's happening? Yes. Laura says, connection to like-minded people. That's it, yes. Maddie says, I'm a long-time volunteer in the area that I want to set up a business in. Excellent. Excellent. That volunteer, that's a lot of street cred, you know. And don't feel shy about moving from, I used to do this for free and now I do it for money. That's totally fine. And notice, too, that when you are charging really good money for the work that you do, those high-paying people, those high-ticket people, can finance the free stuff, right? They make it possible for you to free up the time or free up the money to be able to donate more back to your community. So some people have this thing like, oh, it's selfish to charge more. No, it's selfish to not charge more, right? When you're really charging what you know your work is worth and people are really valuing it and paying you promptly, then you have more to give. When you're scraping along from nickel to nickel, you don't have anything to give. That's selfish. You feel me? Okay. Rule number 3. This will challenge some of you, but stay with me. I present myself as a creative professional at all times. I present myself as a creative professional at all times. Now, this does not mean that you're some stuffy, fuddy-duddy, boring, businessy, wearing a suit kind of person. You may notice that my signs are called magic marker on typing paper, okay? But I knew you guys wouldn't care, and it's part of my brand. I like to make things by hand. I had fun last night writing these out and trying to decide which color to use and things. Presenting yourself as a creative professional does not mean that you're boring or that you're dull or that you're stuffy. What it means is that you are proud. You are proud of what you do. You do not apologize for what you do, and you do not make excuses for what you do. You do not say, well, I'm an actor, you know, like everybody. I guess I'm an aspiring writer. I'm an aspiring. You're not aspiring, you're doing it. Somebody says what you do, you tell them what you do. I'm an actor. I'm a healer. I'm a teacher. I'm a writer. And if they want to roll their eyes or make a joke about, oh, which restaurant, whatever, you know, people are silly sometimes. You just hold your space. No, that's funny. The world has never needed art more. And your art matters. So stand tall in your art. And treat it with respect. Treat your materials with respect. Treat yourself with respect. Make sure that you are rested and fed and prayed and meditated and exercised so that you can go out and give your best work and buy better shoes. People judge you by your shoes. They shouldn't, but they do. Buy better shoes. Okay. How are we doing? Number 4. How to be a creative genius CEO. Number 4. I keep my business financial records separate and up to date. I keep my business financial records separate and up to date. Now I know this is where a lot of you are like going, oh. Yeah. Again, if you would like to have more money flowing through your life, even if it's just an extra couple $1,000s a month, you need to treat that with respect. And the IRS would like you to treat it with respect too. If you make more than, this is not tax advice, I am not a tax professional, please consult with your local professional, don't take this as advice. But my understanding of the tax law is that if you make more than $600 doing what you do, you then, the IRS says, oh, that's not a hobby, that's a business, and then you can write off all of your other expenses, including a class with me, including all your materials, including, you know, I mean, I'm still an actor, so all the movies I go see, my cable bill, I write off all that stuff. That's all part of who I am professionally. Magazines I buy, the books I buy, there's a lot of books. Big tax write-off. Other people's classes I take. But you can't write it off if you can't prove that you did it and that it goes to the business. So it's not very hard to do. If it totally makes you break out in hives, then get a friend. because you know someone you know, there's someone in your life who's great at this kind of stuff and who loves organizing this kind of thing and who loves to get in with the numbers. And I know you might feel embarrassed or shy, but believe me, everybody's got money stuff. It's fine. So find somebody that you like and trust. Have them help you out. It's not that hard to set up a sole proprietorship, what they call it, depending on the state you live in, and a separate bank account. And that's really all you need. You don't, maybe it's credit. You should get a business credit card. You should have a credit card that you use for business and then one you use for your actual life. And you should keep those things separate. But yeah, it's a respect thing. It's a respect thing. And the more you pay attention to it and the more you get in there with those numbers, there's a real freedom in there. There's a real freedom in there. So don't put that part off. Don't think, oh, it's small, I don't need to do it. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Okay. Number 5. I know that revisions to the plan are mandatory. Second guessing is prohibited. I know that revisions to the plan are mandatory. Second guessing is prohibited. What does that mean? That means that you stay in action. You set an intention. I'm going to get 2 more clients. I'm going to sell that piece of art. I'm going to get that book published. I'm going to do this thing. And you do not stop until that thing has happened in some way, shape, or form. We all know once a creative project is in motion, it'll change and grow. That's the revisions to the plan. Of course, that's going to happen. But you do not stop in the middle and go, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe I should quit. Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should, I don't know. Just energetically, that like, oh, I want to, boom, maybe I shouldn't. Oh, I think I want to slam the door. I'm taking steps to slam the door. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe I'm a fool. I mean, in anything, you know, like imagine if sex were like that. Like you sort of start and then you shut it right down. No, can't do that. You know, or if food were like that. You take a couple bites and you're like, oh, no, I can't. I can't. What if this isn't right? What if this isn't the right food? Maybe I didn't order properly. You know? You gotta stay in it. You've got to decide that it will work. You've got to believe that it will work, and you have to not quit until it works. And you and I both know that once you're in it, it's a lot easier. You know, you find the freedom, you find the choices, you make adjustments, you know, so it doesn't go the way perfectly or the way you planned. But you've done it, and that feels great to get your work out there, right? So, yeah, stay flexible with your plan, but cut out the second guessing, because that'll kill you. That'll just kill you. Rule number 6. I'm going to send you guys a PDF that has all these written up. It's kind of cute. Okay. Number 6. I am not vague about stuff. How to be a creative genius CEO. Rule number 6. I am not vague about stuff. What does that mean? It means that you operate with clarity. It means that you're clear in your agreements. It means that you're clear in your pricing. It means that you are clear in your communication. It means that you are intentional in that which you do. Again, it's a respect thing. You're worth it. Your work is worth it. They are worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it to be clear. And there's a hiding in the vagueness. How many clients do you want? Well, I don't know, maybe a few, but no, 5. I want 5 clients paying me $500 a month. Boom. Now that we're clear, we can move, right? But if you're not willing to be clear, you're preventing the decision. And when you are staying in indecision, this sort of cloudy, I'm not really sure what I want, I'm not really going to say, I'm not committing, I'm not ready, it's not really the right time, I'm not sure. You just perpetuate more self-imposed confusion. You're not going to get clear from this space. Clarity does not come to this space. Just more confusion comes to this space. So you need to be clear, make choices, and move forward And then, again, you'll adjust and adapt based on the information you get then. I'm not saying that everything you do is going to work perfectly, but I'm saying that everything you do will have consequences, and you will learn stuff, and then you can do it better next time. Does that make sense? The problem is the clarity doesn't come until you make a decision. You can think about it this way. Oh, I want to take a trip. Okay, that's pretty vague. I'd like to travel. That's pretty vague. What happens, and you can stay in that place forever. Oh, I want to travel, so I look at travel websites, and I think about traveling, and I watch shows about traveling, and I just stay in, and I feel kind of bad that I can't afford to travel more, and I just stay in this space of indecision and longing. Versus, I want to go to Istanbul for 3 weeks in November. That's clarity. Now you can start looking for answers to that. You still don't have any more money than you had, but you have some clarity. So you can start looking, well, how much is a ticket to Istanbul? Have other people gone? What did it cost them? Where did they stay? How can I find out more? How can I raise that money? Oh, look, it's not as much as I thought it was. I can get 2 clients and pay for that. Perfect. Right? There's magic in the movement and in the clarity. So if you catch yourself saying, I don't know, I'm not ready, I'm not sure, that's you're keeping yourself stuck that way. So fight that habit. Fight that habit. Okay? Good. Clarity begets movement. Exactly. Good. Number 7. I abide by my values. And this word abide, I abide. I live in the house of my values. I abide by my values. Now this implies that you know what your values are, which I think you do. I have actually kind of a fun technique that I do in the Get It Done workshop to help people figure out sort of more precisely what their values are. But here, we can do this right now. Answer this question for me. If the world were just like it is right now, but a little bit better, in what way would it be better? Like if you had the power to just make the world a better place, in what way would it be better? Well, let's see. If I had the power to make the world a better place, then people would be more polite. They'd be kinder to each other. Great. Guess what? I have a value of politeness and kindness. Right? Or maybe you say, no, the world would be a better place if people just played more, if they just lightened up. Great. You've got a value of play, of lightness. That's great. People were more respectful. People were more whatever. The other way, you can also do this the other way too. You can notice what really makes you crazy, what really makes you mad when you get like totally fired up and angry that somebody's doing something. Chances are they're stepping on one of your values. So notice that. But once you've determined some of what your values are, you get to run your business from those values. You get to run your whole life from those values. But you get to make that choice. The values, for example, the values of the Organized Artist Company are authenticity, transparency, creativity, kindness, and fun, right? Good humor, anyway. So when I'm faced with a difficult decision, like let's say somebody didn't want to pay me. That hasn't happened, but let's say it did. Somebody didn't want to pay me. Then I can go to my values and say, okay, well, what is the most transparent, authentic, creative, kind, good-humored way to deal with this situation? And now I can navigate the ship of my business the way I want to, because I'm the CEO, right? So I think people have this feeling of like, oh, if I went into business, I would have to be some other person, or I'd have to compromise my values. No, going into business allows you to live out your values in a much more meaningful way, right? And you look at the companies that do that really successfully, LL Bean and Tom's and Apple, sort of, a little bit. What else? Smith and Hawken. I mean, there's some great companies out there that are really doing amazing things because of their values. So they're able to be creative, make money, and have an impact in the world, right? Starbucks just said they pay for college for all their employees. How's that for business? How's that for the consequences of a $4 cup of coffee? Pretty good, right? Okay. Number 8. It is okay with me if I succeed, because I know that my success benefits all. It is okay with me if I succeed because I know that my success benefits all. There's a phrase you may have heard that I love. It says, a rising tide raises all boats. So take a minute here and go deep with me. Like, really check in with yourself about this. Is it okay with you if you succeed? Are you willing to graciously accept success? Are you willing to graciously accept success? Are you willing to have other people love what you do? Because you know they might. They might love what you do. They might tell you about it. They might be fans. They might show up for things. They might send you emails telling you that you changed their life. Is that okay with you? Now, I'm not saying that you have to think that you're so great. You're not going to. You're going to think the same things about yourself that you've always thought about yourself. But you have to be willing for other people to think that you're great. For other people to think that your work is great. And just a sort of a PS, and by the way, I can almost guarantee you that the piece of work or the thing that you put out into the world that gets like the most attention and makes you the most money and is the most popular will not be your favorite piece of work. It's going to be the thing with the puppy. It's going to be the thing that you're like, really? That thing? I wrote that in 12 seconds. Like, really? That's the most, like, the Love Boat theme? That's what makes me the most money? Yeah. Yeah. But people get to like what they like, and they get to pay for what they want to pay for, and you get to be successful and be gracious about it. So think for yourself, are you willing to graciously accept success? Because you know that your success benefits everybody. The more successful you are, the more time and energy you have to give, the more money you have to give, the more freedom you have to make choices. When you're depressed and depleted and exhausted and your sense of humor is gone, nobody's winning from that. Nobody's benefiting from that. You're not making anybody happy with that move. Right? Oh, I want to do this thing, but I'm afraid it'll take time away from my kids. I'm afraid it's selfish. No, the opposite. The opposite. Your children need to see you modeling strength and courage in the world and bringing your work to the people who really, really need it, including them. Including them. Okay, number 9. How are we doing? Oh, 12:48. Oh, good. We're doing pretty good on time. Number 9. I investigate, research, and trust my intuition. I investigate, research, and trust my intuition. Now, notice this is number 9. Some of you put this at number 1, and you spend all of your time researching and investigating. Yeah, that's another form. That's back in that confusion and non-action, right? But I also know that sometimes people don't do the very simplest of research. You know, oh, I want to do an ebook, but I don't know how. No. You want to write an ebook, and you don't know how. So do a little research. There's lots of people out there who can help you publish an ebook. It's really kind of easy. And then you can trust your own intuition about who's the right person to teach you that. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do it the conventional way, or is there an unconventional way that you want to do it? You know, do you want to go in the front door, or do you want to go in the side door? Right? You get to choose. But you got to do some investigation. I had a friend who was like on this long internal investigation about whether or not she wanted to buy a house. and whether she was really ready for that and what that might mean and where and what, and just like this whole concept of house buying. And I said, well, what kind of mortgage can you qualify for? And she went, oh, I have no idea. Like, okay, well, let's do a little research. Just let's find out what the numbers are. Say, oh, I want to do this thing, but I can't afford it. I want to do this thing, but I can't afford it. How much is it? How much is it? It might be a lot more reasonable than you think. So set your timer for 15 minutes. In my experience, that's enough time to investigate. Let's do preliminary research on almost everything. So, and then really trust your intuition. You can. That little inner voice, that pull, and and get some trusted advisors. Get some people that you can really count on. Good. Okay, number 10. Before I do number 10, I want to invite you again to apply for the Creative Genius CEO program, just again because I think it's super fun. It's a fun application to fill out. You don't have to worry about taking up my time or me being mad. I'm interested. It allows me to learn more about you, and again, if you're interested in even a little bit, then we can have a little conversation about it. It starts like next week, and like I said, the program's pretty much filled, so I'm not really looking for a lot of people, but maybe one or two more, and maybe one or two more of those is you. So if all of this, what I'm saying right now, is really interesting to you, and you're feeling that real pull, believe me, now is the time. There is no later. There is no after the summer. There is no next year. There is no if you offer it next time. I don't know that I'm going to offer this again. I really don't. I kind of suspect that I won't, but I don't know. So take the first step, investigate, fill out the application. If it feels interesting, you'll book a conversation with me. We'll talk. If it's the right thing, we'll move forward. If it's not, then we won't. I won't let you in the program if it's not the right thing for you, okay? And if I don't think I can help you. All right. Good. Trusting intuition. Yes, exactly. Yes. Research the options. Right. Okay, so number 10. Here's number 10, and it really probably should be number 1. But number 10 for how to be a Creative Genius CEO. I show up. I show up. I show up for myself. I show up for my work. I show up for my clients. I show up for my creativity. I show up for my faith. I show up for the universe. I show up for my friends. I show up for my colleagues. I show up. It's, you've probably heard it said before, the key to 99% of success is showing up. And sometimes it's kind of true, You can really make a difference in people's lives when you show up. When you get past your insecurity and your what if they don't like me, and what if they hate my work, and what if it's stupid, and what if they throw tomatoes, and you just show up. Just let your work be out there. And let the price tag be on it. And show up with strength and integrity. And then you get to make the money that you want to make and have the impact you want to have in the world, and other people get to benefit from your work. I have a friend who had an opportunity to rent an artist studio for the first time. She'd never had her own studio before, and the rent was $600 a month. So she put 2 of her paintings up on Facebook and said, I have the opportunity to rent this artist space, so I'm selling these paintings to help pay for the rent. This one is $750, this one's $600. She sold the $750 one immediately. She sold the $600 one the next day. And then she's getting all these comments from people going, I didn't know you painted. These are beautiful. Do you have anything in green? And so now she's all of a sudden created this fan base, and she's dedicated herself to making a piece of work every day. So she's putting one piece of work up on Tumblr every single day. And sometimes it's just like a little crazy little sketch. And sometimes it's a full oil painting. It just depends on where she's at in whatever process. But she makes something every day, and she puts it out on her blog every single day. That's showing up. That's showing up. So how do you want to show up? How do you want to show up? What choice will you make today? It's going to get you a little bit closer. You're going to double your rates. Go ahead and double your rates. Charge twice as much, offer a money-back guarantee. That's always my theory, right? Because you know you're going to over-deliver, and if people aren't happy, you don't want their money anyway, so charge twice as much. It's a great way to differentiate yourself. And, you know, you're not Walmart. Whatever it is you're offering comes from your heart, and that's worth paying for. All right. We're just about at the top of the hour, and I don't want to keep you, but if you all have any questions, I want to make sure I answer them. So go ahead and type them into the chat box. If you don't have questions, go ahead and fill out that application for Creative Genius CEO. Oh, there's also a bit.ly link if for some reason the click doesn't work. So here, I'll write out the bit.ly link. Hang on. And this will stall while people, because I know that, like I said, there's this delay between when you type in and when I see it. So it's bit.ly. And the cases on this actually matters. So it's bit.ly, lowercase, / CGCEO 2014, and that's all in caps. Okay, CGCEO, Creative Genius CEO 2014. So that's where the application is living if for some reason you can't click on the thing. And again, even if it's ages from now, even if it's years from now, and you're like, you know what, I want to fill out that application, go ahead, I'm interested, you know. And like I said, I think that the action of answering these questions, even as we've been doing this last hour, will help you move forward and help you move from that place of lack of clarity and indecision into real movement and having a real impact. And that's what I want for you, right? Cynthia says, just doubled my rates yesterday. Woo! Good job. Melanie says, how can we identify and maintain trusted advisors, emphasis on trusted? Well, again, I would go with your intuition. I don't know that I've ever spoken to somebody who, well, let me put it this other way. I've had a number of conversations with people who invested money with somebody and then later came to feel that that was not a good investment. And every single one of them said, you know, I kind of knew, like right at they walked in the room and I just got this flash like, oh, that's not right. Or, oh, they're not really getting me. Pay attention to those little flashes. Pay attention to those little flashes. And let people earn your trust, you know, come to them over time. Don't, you know, but also, I don't know, in my experience, people are really great. You know, they really want what's best for you. People are generally very generous and happy to share, happy to give their wisdom, happy to give their advice. I'd go with groups too. You know, make a meetup in your area, or find a group online of people just that you vibe with. You know, that you just like them. You like them. People you don't like, don't stay in touch with them. You don't like them. They don't call up your best and highest work. You're not comfortable around them. You're not doing your best when you're with them. Stick with the people you like. Okay? So, show up. This is so relevant right now. Like, show up even when you're not feeling inspired. Whoops. Even crappy. I show up for my recording session, my horse, and exercise. Very good. Somebody says my plum lipstick looks great. Oh, thank you very much. Angela says, thank you for providing the space. Angela's actually in the Creative Genius CEO program. Woo woo, Angela. How many of us are there so far? There's a ton of people registered for this webinar. There's about 50 of you live, which is great. In the Creative Genius CEO program, there's only going to be about 20 of us. I'm keeping it really small because I want to be able to work with you one-on-one. Good. Yes, and I will also say that lipstick is part of showing up as a creative professional. It is not my, you know, natural state of being to want to put on makeup, but I know that it's important, especially when you're on video. So I have to overcome my visibility issues too. I have to overcome my reluctance to get out of the house. I have to overcome my shyness. Everybody does. Everybody does. But it's not a reason to not do your work. Yeah, trusting your intuition. So true. I'm surprised at how often folks fight their instincts. Yeah. You can really cultivate that. I mean, really take some time every day to pay attention. I love this trick. Next time you go to a restaurant, just order the first thing your eyes fall on. First thing you see, just order that. Open the thing, look at it, pick, close the menu. Don't even look at everything else. It's amazing. Frees up an incredible amount of time as well. So yeah, cultivate your intuition. Good. So that's our 10 rules for being a creative genius CEO, and why I think there's never been a better time for you to get your work out there, to charge for it, and to charge like for real. You know, not play money, but real money. You'll be amazed at how it calls you forward. I had no idea when I started the Organized Artist Company that it was going to be, first of all, the best art project I had ever been involved in. The Organized Artist Company calls me forward to be a better writer, a better teacher, a better leader, a better woman, a better partner, a better delegator, a better citizen, a better, smarter, more evolved person. It calls me forward to that every single day. And not just like growing my skill sets, but it calls me forward spiritually. The Organized Artist Company is not just a reflection of my spiritual life. It is my spiritual life. It is my prayer life. It is my faith in action. It is my offering to the world. And there are things I don't want to do. There are things I get reluctant about. There are things I feel shy about. But the business is calling me. You are calling me. There are people out there who want and need help. And so I got to get over it, right? I got to get over my shyness. I've got to set aside my reluctance. Because of what's being called forward, because of the person I'm being called to be. So you have an opportunity to grow spiritually, emotionally, creatively, artistically, and I don't want you to skip over that opportunity. So don't put it off. Don't wait till later. Fill out the application for Creative Genius CEO. If you have any questions or things you want to talk about, you know, you've got my email address. Just jump on, contact me. I'm around. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for engaging in this conversation with me. I think it's really important. And I think it's really brave of you to even consider this. Most people don't even think about changing their lives ever. And here you are seriously contemplating it. So I think that's great. Let's do one more breathing just to close out the circle. So again, just let yourself be inside your body. Let yourself know what you know. Let the truth about you and your life rise up and guide you. You can't do this wrong. You're not going to screw it up, I promise. And we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Thank you all for doing this with me. Have a great week, everybody. And fill out that application.